World Stroke Day is quickly approaching, and that's going to happen on October 29th. So it's important to raise awareness now. Here to tell us why we need to know more about this is Dr. Robert Schwengel, the Southern New England American Heart Association Board President. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning. How are you today?
Good. Nice to have you here with us today, sir. Can you just start off by telling us, why is it more important than ever to get this word out?
Well, mainly because the treatment for stroke and the symptoms that result in them are very important to get a hold of very quickly. Time is of the essence when it comes to stroke prevention and also treatment. When patients start having symptoms, they need to get medical attention right away to prevent long-lasting disability. Also, in this time of COVID, unfortunately, people are a little bit hesitant to dial 911 or seek medical attention because of their fear of COVID in the hospital, which is unfortunately unfounded. The hospitals are very safe. The EMS systems are very safe, and people need to get that medical attention right away.
One of the other things, heart disease, strokes are the #1 cause of death as well.
Exactly correct. And again, when it comes to heart attacks, the same thing is happening as well. People are staying home with heart attack related symptoms and not seeking medical attention because of their fear of going into the hospital.
Can you talk about some of the warning signs that the people need to know?
Absolutely. It's actually pretty simple. We have an acronym that we use called FAST, which is pretty easy to remember and also reminds us that they need to seek medical attention fast. And those letters stand for face or facial changes. So if someone has a facial droop or a change in their look on one side, that's important to get medical attention for that. The A stands for arm or arm weakness or dysfunction. The S stands for speech. So if someone has slurred speech or garbled speech, matter of fact, a lot of patients will sometimes say that they know what they want to say but can't say it, or it comes out wrong. That's a actually very common symptom of stroke. And then the T stands for time, which means you need to get to the hospital quickly, mainly because there's great treatments which involve either clot-busting drugs or thrombectomy with catheters that can be initiated very quickly and result in almost complete resolution of symptoms, or definitely a limit in the long-standing symptoms that people have.
Is there also a way for strokes to be prevented?
Absolutely. Similar to heart disease, it's all about risk factor modifications. So lifestyle modifications, exercise, weight loss, diet, avoid tobacco, cholesterol management, hypertension management, diabetes, all those things impact the risk of stroke just like they impact the risk of heart disease. So 80% of all strokes can actually be prevented just by these lifestyle and risk factor modifications.
And from what I've seen, family and friends who have had strokes before, obviously it's an awful thing, but the quicker that they have made it to the hospital, they've really recovered remarkably.
Exactly correct. I mean, we've seen patients who have incredibly dense deficits of neurologic condition show up to the hospital early, get either clot-busting medication or the thrombectomy with the catheters, and have almost complete resolution, which is really dramatic.
And also, doctor, this can happen at any age. You don't have to be someone who's older for this to happen either.
That is correct. If you've got the risk factors, I think a good percentage of patients can sometimes occur in their early 30s or late 20s. It's not unheard of. Obviously, age is, as you get older, a higher risk factor. But even at that age, if you have those symptoms, you should seek medical attention right away. The hospitals are prepared to, prevent COVID from passing on from patient to patient. They do a really good job with that, and people should not be afraid to seek medical attention because of that.
Yeah, and the quicker the better, too. Doctor, sir, thank you so much for your time today. We also want to make sure everybody knows if you'd like more information about this, you can head to rhodeshow.com. Make sure also to wear red on October 29th to join the Southern New England American Heart, American Stroke Organization in spreading awareness.